Man, this is the beauty of the playoffs because sometimes you get a basketball game where you're just like, I just watched everything happen and I still don't really totally know what just happened. I mean, I can say what happened. Lonnie Walker just had the quarter of his life. The Warriors had probably the most disastrous last minute, last 30 seconds, whatever you could imagine. We got the 38-year-old LeBron's version of going at Steph Curry, mismatch hunting, all that. We had, especially in the first half, just the Warriors figuring out the high drop defense that AD was playing on pick and rolls in the last game that was really effective for the Lakers. This time around, it was with GP2 setting those screens, with the screens a little higher, and with them also not trying to get pocket passes out of them, but more so like throw it over the top of AD. Like, it seemed like the Warriors had a really good adjustment in this game, and then the fourth quarter insanity happened, and now it's a 3-1 series. Let's go to Lonnie Walker. So the first three he got on the left wing was a LeBron screen action. I'm pretty sure it was Lonnie screening for LeBron, and then he kind of flashed out to three. And that was something that did happen a bit in this fourth quarter. It was LeBron screening for guys, or it was like Steph's guy screening for LeBron. And interestingly, in the past, typically the Warriors would hedge on that and try to get Steph back to his guy because we're like, we do not want that switch. Whereas now they were a little more willing to concede that switch. And within that, we'll get back to Lonnie in a second. But there was that one where LeBron, it seemed like he was on the brink of potentially committing an offensive foul, but he was able to angle his body in a weird enough way to where it was like his momentum was going forward, but he wasn't running over Steph, basically. And so he was able to draw a foul there. At the same time, Steph held up really well on one of them, and that resulted in LeBron missing a floater. Draymond also was helping underneath the basket. There was one early in the fourth where he got the Steph switch, goes baseline on kind of like a drive/post-up, which leads to Anthony Davis getting a layup underneath the rim. So it's still kind of in there, the mismatch hunting LeBron. It's just this is what it looks like right now with his age, and I'm pretty sure the foot injury still affected him a bit. Anyway, back to Lonnie Walker. So he made a mid-ranger off of a curl play on an inbound. Then he had a deep two-pointer on an ISO, where I think the play was pretty much dead, and in my head I was like, there's no way he's making the shot. And then he made the shot, so that was nice. For his next one, LeBron set him a screen. The Warriors were dropping on it, because in their head they were probably like, we really don't want to bring two to the ball or play super high up when it's Lonnie Walker. He made him pay with a floater. Then there was a LeBron AD screen on the left wing, and I think it drew the opposite wing help in, like maybe just a tad, maybe I'm just seeing things. But then it was a swing to Lonnie. He takes one dribble in, and that's another long two, which just drops through. He also had that transition steal. It was just like, oh my God, like this is actually happening with Lonnie Walker right now. Austin Reeves also had a pull-up mid-range with Moody kind of all over him on one. I do want to talk about the Warriors offense. Before we get to the just what happened at the end there, like I said, they did make a real adjustment with how to deal with AD and the high drop, which was, like I said earlier, GP2, screens higher up, all that stuff. And, eventually in the second half, the Lakers put AD on Wiggins. And I think the idea there from the Lakers' perspective is like, okay, well, now if you want to put AD in the action, we can sag off a GP. Now, even then, I think the Warriors were able to still get some stuff. Like, there was that one late where they ran the Wiggins-Steph screen. AD's going to come high up, and then Steph just kind of splits the middle, gets a layup out of it. So, they still had some success with it, but it did feel like they were leaning a little bit more on the off-ball stuff. Now, as I say that, of course, there was that big play where they ran the thing, and then AD just switches on to Steph, and then, Kevin Love-esque, two Steph jump shots. And on the first one, Steph was trying to get by him, and he could never get the thing. So AD, he held up just really, really well. And then late, so we had on the inbound, we had the Draymond, they ran the fake handoff action with Steph. And the idea there is that Draymond goes, and then Clay, I believe the name for it's hammer play, and then he goes to the corner, basically. But the Lakers saw it happening beforehand, and so they switched the Clay action, and then it becomes a turnover, and that's that. And then as far as the jump ball thing with Steph getting it, and then he just kind of threw it backwards, like I'm guessing that he just thought somebody was right there, or maybe he intended to throw it to Moody, who was right next to him, but it just went out of his hands, not in a way he intended it to. Look, he should have called time. Simple as that. Obviously the coach has a power to call timeout as well, so if you want to blame Steve Kerr, you can too. If you want to blame Kerr, you want to blame Steph more. Regardless, the timeout had to happen, and it didn't happen. Now, to be clear, Steph, his overall game was, of course, much better than how that last 30 seconds went. I just want to establish that because, I don't know, I think that's still important. I know Clay had that corner three late, but look, Clay missed a bunch of shots in this one, and they had 10 minutes out of Jordan Poole because Kerr just didn't want to lean on him like that, so And so now I'm just asking myself, like, so what should I be expecting in Game 5? I mean, I guess we could once again see if, is GP2 going to start again? I mean, look, after the last game, I was like, well, I don't know if they have a reliable fifth option, but, GP2, clearly, he made some stuff happen as a screen setter in this one. But again, the Lakers, they moved AD to Wiggins, so, okay, we'll see just with that whole thing. We'll see if Lonnie Walker has another out-of-body experience in another fourth quarter. Maybe someone like maybe Moses Moody will have an out-of-body experience in the next game. I don't know after what I just saw. But yeah, now the Lakers are up 3-1. And look, I picked the Warriors in 7. So I don't know. Blame me, Warriors fans. This Laker team, they just find a way, man.